You ever been doing something like going a direction or down a path, and you had a really strong feeling, like maybe you even knew it was a mistake, but despite the feeling, you just kept doing it. I'm willing to bet you have. I definitely have. But in the middle of making that mistake, it taught me something brutal about why most people tend to stay loyal to lives that are beating them down, breaking them. And not in some, rah rah self help kind of way, but just in the way where you wake up one day and you realize, man, this dream I thought I was supposed to chase, pursue, this American dream or whatever, this life I've been living, this life I've built, it doesn't fit who I am. It doesn't even fit who I am. If you've ever felt the tension that often arises when something seems like it's the right thing, it's the conventional cultural wisdom that says it's a good route, and yet it still feels off. This story might help you finally figure out why that is and what you can do about it. I once drove 7 hours away from my house, like the wrong direction, towards something that wasn't anything good. And even though I knew what I was doing didn't make any sense, like not even a little bit, I just kept going. It was ugly. I drove the first 250 miles on all adrenaline and anger, 3 weeks of anticipation. And I realized I'd burned all 21 days on a lie. But it didn't start out like that. It was like my phone was making love to my ear. This woman's voice, man, it was like butter on roasted peaches. And it didn't matter what she said. It was how she said it. I felt this urge that I just had to meet her. I had spent days imagining what it would be like. But now I just wanted to look her in the eyes and make sure she knew that I knew she'd been lying. I told myself that I was getting justice, but it wasn't justice. It was justification, revenge. I told myself someone else had ruined my dream. But in reality, the dream itself ruined my dream, ensuring it would only ever be a dream. And still, I refused to let it go. This illusion was still running my life. It had its hand gripping my throat, and it was ruining me. And despite the fact that I knew it had zero chance of becoming a reality, I was already disappointed in myself for ignoring my gut that told me to stop and just shutting down my instincts, just pushing them down to obey my baser desires. And irony of ironies, I doubled down. This time, though, not for lust, for something even more insidious, to quench my anger under the guise of thinking that I was taking control. At that point, I figured I'd come this far, might as well keep going. My ego had already taken a hit. There was no need to humiliate myself further. And I thought if I could just get some closure, maybe I could convince myself it wasn't a complete waste of time. And it's not like I knew it then, but I know now that what I was doing is what a lot of people do. Most people aren't chasing dreams. They're just babysitting bad decisions. We obey our desires for comfort and stability, security, the same way we obey our desires for physical pleasure, for the things we crave, love, approval, but we disguise one as duty. And then we condemn the idea of forsaking the hamster wheel, the grind, whatever you call it, to build a dream, a real dream, our honest dream, doing what you were made for. We call that indulgence. And then we tell ourselves we're taking the high road, that we're being responsible. We're staying committed. We say that we're choosing the harder, more noble path by sticking it out. But let's be real. What we're obeying isn't some high sense of responsibility. It's the instinct to chase security and comfort. It's the illusion of accomplishment and approval and success, or at least whatever the things are that our culture believes success to be. But here's the truth. The noble road isn't sticking with something that destroys you slowly, hour by hour, day to day, year to year. The noble road is doing what you were actually made for. And because most people don't, that road is barely paved. And you know what? Even in those rare, quiet moments when your conscience is whispering to you, when the algorithm of cultural conformity glitches just long enough for you to question your true motives, most people still don't turn around. They don't turn back. They just keep going, like I did. Not because it's right, but because admitting that they might have been wrong would suck way more. It's like when I'm driving with my wife and I miss a turn, and I hope she stays staring at her phone long enough for me to double back without her noticing. But years before I ever got married, when I was in my car by myself, driving alone, headed to meet this stranger, there was nobody in the passenger seat to look over and say, dude, what are you doing? I did meet that woman, by the way. And, well, let's just say, I mean this in the most harmless way possible, but her voice made her sound like she had a good personality. All right, she was not cute. I mean, look, I may not be 90s Denzel, but I'm no slouch. This, though, this would have been a real interfacial relationship. And she was married. Yep, had a whole husband. And isn't that exactly what happens when we chase something that wasn't meant for us? We grind through life, sacrificing sleep, energy, our prime best years, only to get to the end and think, this wasn't for me. This was not for me. So before you keep driving further down whatever road you picked a long time ago, ask yourself, is this really where I was made to go? Because the truth is, the amount of time you spend on the wrong road does not magically turn it into the right one. If you're wondering how to evaluate the road you're on, I built a quick tool to help you get clear on whether you're actually moving towards something meaningful or just running away from the fear of being wrong. It's fast, like 30 seconds fast. It's free, and it might save you years of your life. Check the link below and subscribe.